a certain country and a certain group of people. If you criticize blacks, if you criticize Hispanics, if you criticize Christians, white people, whatever,
yeah,
you deal
I'm asking
with
you
almost no
honestly, is there an example of somebody with a 10-figure net worth that has come out and shit on any minority group of people?
Mel Gibson.
Donald Trump.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson?
Yeah,
the guy whose entire career got fucking destroyed?
Exactly, but which community destroyed him, idiot?
No, but I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Let me listen, okay? I'm asking
Wait, what? You want Mel Gibson too? This is like science, bro.
God,
Hold
on, wait a second. Hold on. It's been a while. I'm sorry. Wasn't Mel Gibson canceled because he literally said the N-word in that phone call to that lady?
No.
Hold on. I know you guys are about to, but my understanding, didn't he leak that phone call where he told that it was his mistress or ex-wife?
He was talking about Jews.
And he was talking about the N-word, or was that just Jewish people?
Jews got mad because he said nigger.
Guys. Guys.
It's been a long time. I don't follow every single fucking
Let's be respectful to Destiny's viewpoint. Again, I'm just here moderating. I'm just simplifying it. All Nick is saying, right, and Kanye West said this as well, is that if you criticize other people, you're not going to deal with the same consequences. But if you criticize anyone that's a Zionist, Israel, Jew, anything like that, and say anything about, they're disproportionately represented in certain places despite only representing 2% of the population, they're going to cancel you. That's all he's saying.
But my question is,
I mean, because I want to state it.
Well, wait, quick, because you can even buy for this. Are there any other billionaires that are shitting on minorities so that I can compare? Like, for instance, has Jeff Bezos come out and said, like, Mexicans run this shit, I don't like them, blah, 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 and nothing happened to him? Because my understanding is typically when you're worth that much, you don't usually attack many minorities.
You can respond.
Trump said we're going to ban all Muslims from America. He didn't lose Twitter. He didn't lose banking. He got the Republican nomination.
He said he's going to do it again, too.
Yeah. So there's one.
And he was forced to regulate relations with Saudi. Like, they still made him do something for their Jewish friends, Saudi.
Well, and let me say some more on this. So, in the conservative movement, it's well known, you can literally say fucking anything about Muslims. You can go in there. Glenn Beck he's not worth $1 billion, he's worth $250 million. He can go out there and write a book that says it is about Islam. And in the book, he argues that Islam is an evil religion and they all got to go from America. He's worth $250 million. Robert Spencer, not Richard, but Robert Spencer, he's a Jewish anti-Muslim guy. He could go out there and say similar things. Milo at one point, who's a Jew, could go out and say, I'm going to go and burn the Quran in Sweden during Pride Month or whatever the fuck it was 10 years ago. And he's got bank accounts. He's still got Jewish support. And same thing with Ben Shapiro. Shapiro literally called for a genocide. I'm not sure if you're even aware of that, but he wrote a column and said, transfer is not a dirty word. We need to ethnically cleanse Israel and get the Palestinians out.
Total faggot, by the way. Ben Shapiro, total faggot. Faggot in the chat for Ben.
And that was in addition. To saying that Arabs bomb shit and live in open sewage. He never faced any repercussions or penalties. It's of course only, and even Leafy. Leafy can go on Twitter and say LGBTQ people are evil and all the stuff that he didn't shout out Leafy. He's been doing a great job. He hasn't lost his Twitter. Elon personally told Ye he cannot come back to Twitter.
Yeah,
why the fuck do you think that is?
Nick's still banned on Twitter.
Do you think that if we look at so we can explain this with two ways. Either one, I guess because Jewish people are in control of who gets banned from all of these organizations, or two, can you not just look at where broad U.S. support is and realize that companies are probably doing things to keep broadly the United States citizens like in line with their corporations? So if you were to ask, for instance, if you were to poll U.S. citizens, do you broadly support Muslims in the Middle East more, or do you support like Israel and Jewish people more? Everybody over the age of like 40 is literally an Israeli simp, Donald Trump included, as much as you seem to want to avoid that.
Wait, your original argument was you could get in trouble for any minority attack.
There are certain. I think that if you get on Twitter,
this is cheating. What he's doing, it's a waste of my time.
He's formulating his argument.
I think that if you get on Twitter, and I think if you shit on, like right now, I think if you do like LGBT people, I think you're probably going to get a lot of trouble for it. I think that if you shit on,
you won't get banned.
Wait, define trouble. No. We're talking about JP Morgan, bro. Stop saying
JP Morgan. My understanding is Kanye literally shit on the CEO of that company personally.
What the? No. You think that's why he went down?
I think he literally shit on that company personally. Yeah, he shit on the CEO of that company personally.
So how come he can't get one fucking lawyer? What I'm saying is,
what I'm saying is, also Kanye West is fucking insane. What I'm saying is literally, he's got fucking manic bipolar because everybody in the world. I don't have manic bipolar.
You take Adderall and you're fucking
I don't take any Adderall. Go search my apartment and find a single fucking pill. When I'm all on stimulants like you, I start projecting.
We have to let him formulate his argument. He's giving a response for why people don't deal with the same consequences.
What I'm saying is that, if I'm trying to figure out, like, where is the repercussion of the American people, I can try to go by Jewish people that sometimes control the media and sometimes don't, or sometimes control the government, or sometimes don't, or sometimes push their interests, but they're not from Israel. Or I could say, what do the American people broadly support? I don't think America right now cares that much about people in the Middle East. So if you come out and you shit on brown people or people from the Middle East or Muslims, I don't think they care that much. Now, if you would have shit on Ukrainians, I think that probably would get you a lot of pushback right now. If you would have shit on Jewish people, for a lot of reasons, that probably would get you a lot of pushback right now. If you would have shit on black people, depending on how you do it, that probably get you a lot of pushback right now. But I don't think that it's just like the Jews.
Wait, can I go?
Go ahead.
The reason why there's so much emotional baggage with that tribe is because of all the Hollywood movies on World War II depicting them as victims, but none about the people Stalin killed or any other dictator, Tojo's fucking Jap face. I'm telling you, you've never actually wondered why every World War II movie is from that point of view, that lens. Literally every Hollywood movie, me and Nick growing up, were like, Inglourious Bastards, oh no, oh, this is the only tragedy in history. Nigga, I'm from a war. I'm a refugee, bro.
And you showed it in this debate. You insinuated a couple times that I'm a Nazi, and you said that Nick is a Nazi. That's the most insensitive thing to call somebody.
I said that Nick is a Nazi. You literally said I'm a far leftist. You don't even know what communist or socialist means. You said I was a communist.
Who trained you to spellcast to disparage someone with the word Nazi? Who trained that in you?
I don't think anybody at this table.
Which part of the media put that impulse in you?
I don't think anybody at this table is going to dispel the word Nazi.
Do you think a fat Chinese media outlet put that impulse in you to call him a Nazi? Where did you learn that behavior?
By listening to what he says about Jewish people in the United States.
But when you call someone a sexist, communist, faggot, whatever.
Do you think I do that a lot? Do I call people sexist?
Well, no, we get it from the external world. So media trained us. Why did they train you when you're losing an argument to put a mustache on him?
I called him a Nazi once at the beginning of the debate. None of this is about me just calling him a Nazi.
Why is it the most powerful word you can use?
It's not. The most powerful word right now is probably racist, I think, or transphobe. Those are the ones that were more shut up right now.
Do you hear what I'm trying to say or no?
What?
Like that you were trained by media.
You're saying that there's some manufactured consent because Jewish people run all the fucking media in the U.S., blah, 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 blah.
At 8 years old, you watch Inglourious Bastards, Schindler's List, and all that.
Do you think there might be a reason why the United States...
Bagel Boy.
Do you think there might be a reason why the United States is more interested in like what happened on the Western Front than the Eastern Front?
Say it again.
Do you think there might be a reason why the United States is more interested in what happened on the Western Front rather than the Eastern Front?
How is this relevant?
I'm gonna kill myself.
All right. How is that even relevant?
Let's go back.
Because you asked me why are so many movies? Why are so many movies made about World War II from that perspective?
Okay, Destiny.
Yeah.
Can you explain? I guess the disproportionate.
How about this, Steven?
Chill, man. You had a chance, bro. You had a chance. I got to keep this shit somewhat controlled and not too wild all over the place.
What rumble? Be wild.
Yeah. No, I know that, but. What I'm asking is, Destiny, is do you have an explanation for the disproportionate level of punishment for criticizing anyone from Israel or Jewish people versus other races? That's what they're addressing.
My guess is for older people, broadly speaking, everybody old in this country loves Israel. That's just a fact of the matter. Like everybody over 40 is a massive fucking Israeli simp. Younger people have issues with the Palestinian stuff. More far right or far left people might have reasons for other reasons, right? But broadly speaking, even Nick would, I think, attest to this, that broadly speaking, Israel enjoys wide support for the United States from Democrats and Republicans alike. So my guess is attacking that group of people is probably going to get you in more heat because you're dealing with people that actually vote, you're dealing with people that actually buy shit, and then you're dealing with people that are like running those companies, not just Jew people, but everybody that supports Israel. That's probably why it's not a good idea to attack that group of people.
I totally disagree. I mean, first of all, the left has been drifting more pro-Palestine as opposed to pro-Israel. So it's not everybody that loves Israel. And by the way, we're not even really strictly talking about Israel. We're talking about any conversation about Jews or Israel gets totally censored by big tech, gets totally censored and
why can you buy the book on Amazon?
Hang on, I'd let you finish. So let me jump in. You know, it's a fucking debate, dipshit. So I'm going to disagree, obviously. So when it comes to criticism of Jews or when it comes to criticism of Israel, it's not like this is something that's just happening. There are high pressure groups that exist like the ADL. When it happened to Kanye, it wasn't like Kanye said that and then collectively everyone got together and said, well, we like Jews more than we like Muslims, so that can't stand. The ADL came out there at the front like they always are. Anytime anyone said something remotely critical of Jews in Israel, and they wrote a letter to Adidas and said, you better fucking disavow. And the threat was this: if you don't, we're going to run a media campaign and say that Adidas supports Nazis. Don't buy their shoes. They've done this before. They did the same thing to Facebook. In 2020.
Did you see the letter by chance? Did you actually see it, what they said?
Yeah.
Kanye?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Did you see the one by J.P. Morgan?
It was public. The letter was public.
Because the J.P. Morgan letter was before.
Hey, let me finish.
He's explaining his stance.
Go ahead.
So,
And then the J.P. Morgan.
So the point is this. It's not that this censorship stuff just happens. Like, for example, people ask me all the time. There was just a girl over here on Friday. I said, oh, I'm banned from Twitter. She said, oh, but, they're reinstating people. Like, I don't know that. I know. And I told her, I said, yeah, I got reinstated for a day. Then I got immediately rebanned. I was one of 5 people on a list by the ADL that they said cannot come back to Twitter. And out of that 5, I'm 1 out of 2 that is, or 1 out of 3 actually, but 1 out of 2 that was not allowed to come back that talks about Jews. Andrew Tate got to come back, doesn't talk about Jews.
You did get to come back.
Donald Trump, and then got immediately rebanned, and all of my appeals got shut down.
Why'd you get rebanned?
They didn't tell me.
Because he
They
called
never
himself.
told me.
He called
What
himself.
did you tweet before you got banned?
He was
I
on a
tweeted
space
a
and he
video
said,
saying DEFCON 2.
and he was.
Didn't Tucker get fired for having an opinion that went outside of the narrative of Fox News?
No, Tucker got fired because he almost cost Fox News $1 billion for lying on air. It's funny that you defend the fact that he had an original opinion. What you're actually defending is misinformation and lies, which is supposed to be something you guys are against, I thought.
Which opinion was this? That's not what I heard. Tell me, please educate me, Destiny.
The Fox News, the Dominion lawsuit. There were texts that were leaked from him where he admitted that he was lying on air about claims that Sidney Powell had made to him, and he was tired of lying to his audience about things about the Dominion voting machines being rigged.
Well, I don't know if that's a lie at all. Firstly.
You don't know anything.
Destiny, I want to understand your worldview.
You acknowledge that your point of view is fundamentally anti-American. From the founding fathers, the framers,
100%.
the law.
Americanism is a heresy in the Catholic Church. You know that if you know anything. But
Okay,
you get
so
all
then why the
information from
live
media
in this
articles.
country? Why not go live in Rome or go live in the Catholic Vatican or go live in prehistoric wherever the in the United States and try to change this into some theocratic regime when that's not fundamentally what the country is about? Make the Muslims in the call answer. Suleiman, Sneeko, and Myron. Nick
Guy's
said he would
freaking out.
never
It's being
allow
very
any
alternative.
Muslim in this country to hold public office. You're chill with that?
But Destiny, I was going back and forth with Nick and Andrew on this. Is that where do you draw the line? Who decides where that line is? Destiny, good to have you. And I'm sure there's a lot of voices on stage that some you agree with, some you strongly disagree with. But where would you say that line should be drawn?
But wait, I'm on Destiny's blacklist. He cannot speak to me because I'm on his blacklist.
Are we talking
okay.
about for are we talking about for like legal purposes, or are we talking about for platform community guideline purposes, or what do you mean?
Let's keep it more broad, free speech purposes.
Well, I mean,
where do you draw? Is it so Elon has drawn? Okay, so Destiny is Nick on your black? Do you have a blacklist?
Destiny, have you brought? Yeah,
He has to go.
Give us an exception here, Destiny. If you can speak to Nick, if we can have the exception, Destiny, we'd be very grateful. But on a serious note, Destiny, where do you draw the line? Because Elon was asked that question. I think he was asked. We were doing a space on Brazil. When he was asked that question, he said a country's law, even though he might disagree with it, that's that's the line he cannot cross because he's running a business. Where do you think that line should be drawn, Destiny?
Well,
because we've been having sorry. I just want to add one more. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, Destiny.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, like to say the line is drawn at the law. I mean, is the most boring answer ever. Obviously, and if you're a business owner, you kind of have to operate there. But that's not the only place you can operate, right? Business owners can also make suggestions to Congress. They can have their appearances. They can talk to whoever they want to talk to. They can push culturally for the norms to change. In terms of like where it should be, I mean, I like the United States freedom of speech. I think that sometimes people speak about it in kind of an ignorant way. Like, for instance, when we talk about TikTok, it's kind of funny that people think it's unfathomable that a foreign adversary literally having connections to so many different American cell phones and having their thumb on social media, which we all know is incredibly like influential and important. The idea that that wouldn't be a thing we'd want to avoid as the United States, I think it's an easy to understand idea without needing to invoke, any kind of weird conspiratorial nonsense.
Yeah, Israel.
Cool. But yeah, no, I mean, I like the United States. I don't think we should have hate speech laws. I think we should be allowed to say more or less what you want to say in terms of like legal protections. And then obviously platforms can regulate speech as they want, but I think they should lean a little bit more on the freedom of speech side and just give people the opportunity or the tools to like block or mute people if they don't want to hear them.
So my next question, Destiny, is, do you think Nick should be censored?
What, from X or from Twitter?
Social media.
No, I think Nick's pretty harmless. I think if he wants to do his little thing, he can do what he wants.
Okay.
I just got something real quick I want to say with TikTok because I find it very interesting. Real quick, I just want to say this with TikTok. There was a push to ban TikTok for years on a national security premise because, obviously a foreign adversary has created the app. But I find it very interesting that a bill didn't get passed to get TikTok banned until what? Oh, it was overwhelmingly pro-Palestine, about 70 to 30% versus being pro-Israel. But once it became pro-Palestine and people became extremely critical of Israel, guess what? Oh, nope, we got to pass the bill and get rid of TikTok.
Ed, I know you were jumping in.
We were talking about Nick's ban. I know you were banned, I think it was 2021 or something, and then Elon actually let you back on, or X let you back on after Elon took over. And then I think it was the same day you were banned again. And is there, like, do we know what you were actually banned for? Because I know doing research, I know you had a post where you said who controls the mind, and it was all these Jewish people in the media. And then you also were in a space where you said, yes, we love Hitler, bitch. Like, do we know which of those got you banned?
Well, when I got unbanned, I was under the impression that the new principle was free speech. So I didn't say anything illegal, and they didn't tell me what I was banned for. But I only posted like 3 things. I posted the red media. I said I did my Twitter space. And that's funny, you think, oh, you said you love Hitler. I love everyone. I love you. I love Destiny. I love everybody.
But it's very different saying. But it's very 2 seconds. Guys, 2 seconds. So this is the slippery slope. Hold on. Yeah, I've just. Okay. Yeah, I am speaking, so I'm not letting it go. But Nick, do you think so? First, a question, and we'll ask Elon that question on why you were banned, if you manage to drop by. But the question is, do you think that particular statement? So obviously you can't compare loving Destiny to loving Hitler for obvious reasons, but do you think that's the statement that got you banned, or do you think it was something else? Nick Fuentes. And I hope you're not being banned, right? I don't know if he's rugging or his account just got banned again. I'll be honest, I think it would be funny.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, Destiny. Go ahead, Destiny. Go ahead, Destiny.
I wish that we had like better freedom of speech defenders. Like, listen, it's the United States of America. If you want to say you love Hitler, if you want to be anti-Semitic, you should be like allowed to say those things. I don't like it when people get banned for being anti-Semitic and then they say they weren't anti-Semitic, but then they also defend freedom of speech, but they won't say those things. It's ironic because all the people that talk about the Jew stuff are like the people who are the most scared to own the things that they've actually said. Like, it's the United States of America. If you want to be anti-Semitic or anti-Jew, you have the right to say that publicly. Like, there's no law against like saying that publicly. Like, champion.
Hey,
can
I jump in now? My thing was glitching.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
I want to answer this. Yeah. So, you're right. We cannot compare loving Hitler to loving Destiny. Destiny is far worse.
I knew you were going to say that.
Category.
I knew you were going to say that. Man, look, let's try to last more than 24 hours today.
Come on, that's a good riff. No, you're right. But, well, here's the thing. I think that in those cases, in those edge cases, yes, like we do have to permit people to say things that even everybody disagrees with. We have to permit people to say things that anybody would say, oh, of course you shouldn't be able to say that. That's where it matters. The limits of free speech, that's where it becomes tested. We don't have free speech so that people can say, I like Burger King instead of Wendy's. No, we have free speech so that people can say things that are outrageous and question fundamental assumptions, like about Hitler, like about certain political myths, or how our political system is founded. And so when Destiny says, oh, well, you don't own what you say,